Count how many times I say player exclusive. We are back with another video, and this is, you probably guessed it, a video review of the Jordan 3 Wizards, which is a players exclusive. It is a players exclusive, and these are not the true blues, ladies and gents. Oh, I actually kind of see a little glue stain. Is that a glue stain? And a little scuff. Here's how you tell the difference between this and the true blues. One, true blues have a true blue colorway, right? We've also got these copper eyelets, the copper colored Jumpman, and on the outsole, the copper Jordan, followed by the top of the outsole. There is the elephant print, and of course, our little navy blue Nike Air logo. But to give some background, the Jordan 3 Wizard PE, right, meaning players exclusive, count how many times I say player exclusive, was an exclusive pair during his first season with the Washington Wizards. Now, this is a stint in his 2001 comeback to the NBA that kind of gets forgotten in MJ's player history. For those of you who were born after 2001, this might not be that relevant history, but to break it down, it was October 2001. The world needed some good news. Only a couple weeks before, basically the previous month, the Twin Towers had been, tragically attacked by terrorists. And that tragedy claimed well over 3,000 lives. Yeah, the country needed a win. They didn't necessarily get a win from Washington Wizards, but they got a win from Jordan. Jordan announcing that he was coming back to the NBA as a guard forward in a Wizard uniform. So you gotta keep in mind, this was all happening only a couple weeks before the 2001-2002 NBA campaign. And only a few weeks after the September 11 attacks, which we now call 9/11. So he decided, due to everything that was going on, that he would donate the season's salary to victims of the terrorist attacks. So not only was he announcing his return to the NBA, but he was also giving away his season's salary. Right, for those of you who think that, oh, the true blues are the truth and they're the only truth, that's not true, because these Jordan 3s, he wore these. He wore this color scheme, right? The Jordan Company really wasn't producing a lot of Washington colors. So they had to create this player's exclusive pair. And he was playing in these, thinking like October 20th of 2001. His home debut in Washington, DC. He actually played against the New Jersey Nets, and he pulled out this fresh pair of Jordan 3s, all right? It was definitely a fan favorite, but ironically, a lot of people thought, from afar, that these were Jordan 3 true blues. Yeah, so it turned out that time would reveal that these actually had copper hits on the eyelets, on the Jumpman, and on the outsole. These never got an official release. It just continued to be a player exclusive, which is why, along with other reasons having to do with, his time in this very short stint at the Washington Wizards, that this kind of gets obscured in player history. but he ultimately made a point to really add old and new Jordans to this lineage. So it was a new colorway, but it was from a pretty old sneaker silhouette, right? By this point, the Jordan 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, 11s, 12s, 13s had already dropped. It was 2001, 2002. And Michael decided to drop a silhouette that had been constructed in the 1980s. So obviously to people who were obsessed with Jordan, this mattered. As far as colorway history, it kind of got lost in translation.
If you don't got no sauce, then you're lost. But you can also get lost in the sauce.
You can get how you get lost in the sauce?
A lot of folks seeing the game thought they were True Blues. So keep in mind, right? A lot of people are not going to put that much focus on this being a different sneaker. In fact, a lot of people would think it's just like a made-up colorway by Jordan brand. But the reality is, it's actually an OG colorway. Not from his original lineup of the Jordan 3 Retros, but it's a player exclusive. That's gotta count for something. Now, let's remember that a lot of Wizard colorways for Jordan have rarely actually been released, right? There have been very few renditions that are tied to his time with the Wizards. For the most part, his stint there has not been celebrated, at least in colorway form. And this is actually a pretty solid silhouette. And again, we gotta remember, this was like 2000 nostalgia, right? For some people who felt that this comeback was really valuable just because they got to see their favorite player grace the court again, it's worth acknowledging that 2000s nostalgia is actually catching up to 90s nostalgia. And I think this could be a moment where we can acknowledge that this should matter. And I know that this may be a sneaker that sits on outlets just because people don't understand the history, they don't understand how it's related to MJ lore, and they just generally think that it's not as good as the True Blues. In my unlettered opinion, the cushioning is great, the colorway goes nuts, the paint job, aside from a few noticeable brush strokes, is pretty decent, and the material is immaculate. I think everybody should take not a first, not a second, but a third look at this Jordan 3 colorway, especially as it holds real athletic and sentimental value in Michael Jordan's history with the league. I'm a history buff, so I can't deny this means something special. Anyway, you can let me know your thoughts in the comments. Would you skip out on these over some Jordan True Blues that you see re-released like every 5 or 10 years? Or do you want something that's fresh, something for Washington, something that's magic?